fucking money this year.
This industry
with the camera, with cameras.
It's been tough. It's been a tough year. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm here with my buddy Chris. He's a local photographer, videographer, amazing human being, extremely talented. Also has a YouTube channel, so make sure to follow him. He goes way deep in topics and knowledge and a lot of things that if you're starting out in photography, you're learning new things about photography, or even if you're a veteran like me, like I get so much out of his videos that it's definitely worth watching. So make sure to drop him a follow, show him some love. Thank you for being on my video today.
Thank you for that very generous.
It's not generous at all. I think
I too much time on my hands.
I left some things hanging, I bet. But we're out here because we were supposed to have a job today together. We were supposed to shoot something, and you know, the way of life happens, and it fell through, and we were left with nothing to do. And we're like, what the fuck are we gonna do now? We still wanted to get together because it had been some time since the last time that we've, you know, been in person. Yeah. And we were due for a little bro chat, a little update. And we decided that, you know, screw it. Let's just get together. Let's talk some shit, and let's probably record something. And this is what we're gonna do right now. We don't really have a plan on what we're about to say, but
we have a lot of the same complaints, though.
We got a lot of the same complaints we found out when we were having lunch, so we're gonna like hit those right now. So
why did our job get canceled? Well, postponed, really.
Yeah, postponed for now, but you know,
determined.
nothing is for sure until it happens. So for now, we're gonna deem it. We're not making any money, so.
I mean, that's just kind of like the almost like the purgatory that I find myself in all the time. I've got estimates all over the place, inquiries coming in, but everything's in limbo.
Everything's in limbo.
Nothing confirmed, even though it feels like I'm doing a bunch of shit, but I'm doing nothing at all at the same time.
And how long have you been doing photography for?
Professionally, over 13, 14 years now.
13, 14 years in the industry, somewhat just like me. 13, 14 years in the industry, and still dealing with pretty much
the
same stuff.
New variations of the same shit,
but still the same shit. And I think it's something that a lot of beginners out there need to hear from people like us. Like, we're established photographers and videographers and whatever you want to call us. We are professionals in the field and established businessmen in the field. And we still have to deal with stuff like this. There's nothing is for certain. Like, we were talking that we've been in jobs that they've paid us upwards of $100,000 per job. And now we're here.
Now I'm redesigning my website, you know, to try to track new clients.
Yeah. Redesigning websites, rethinking your whole life, rethinking that what you're doing, is it good? Is it good enough? Is it still relevant?
Is it outdated? Yeah.
And what can we do to stimulate more people coming in and just talking to us and just, you know, getting more business back?
It really is a feast or famine way of life. You have to be comfortable with that.
But that is not just something that's happening in the world. I think that is the creative industry in itself is that. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. And I think, you know, when we met, we were like younger, and we were like the kind of scrappy up and coming.
Yeah.
And now we're the old guys complaining about the new things coming in.
we are the bitter old men.
You
these
know,
damn
these
kids.
damn TikTokers and these influencers ruining everything.
But there's a lot to be said in that, and we sort of also talked about that because there is, you know, there's the lack of knowledge for a lot of things is.
It leads to predatory behavior that affects us all.
From bigger brands or bigger companies. You have somebody like us that we charge a premium for our services because we understand the value that we provide to said companies. And then there's people out there that might not be as aware of how much money they could actually be making in the industry. And they're just offering their services for very, very low budget or practically sometimes free just for the recognition of being around XYZ brand. And that's when, you know, everything starts to get torn down, you know. And I remember when we came into the field and when we came into this thing, the older guys were complaining about the budget's not being there, and I was there like looking at the budget like, damn, bro, this budget is solid. Like,
Yeah.
I'm making a living here, dog. What are you talking about?
Yeah, then you start understanding that, you know, a $20,000 budget doesn't mean you're taking home $20,000.
Yeah.
That's when it, you know, really became real
There's
for me.
expenses
so
and
many
overheads
expenses.
and things you have to pay and people you have to pay and crews and blah blah blah, all these other things,
But-
depending on what job you're doing. But for
But
the
now these budgets are like, dude, it's like $500.
Yeah.
It's like and the cost of living is getting so expensive. We live in Miami. Fucking rent here is like almost as high as it is in LA when I was living there. And you just start to question, like, all right, like, where is the rock bottom? Like, how do you afford to pay your bills if these people are just kind of like pulling the floor underneath you like that?
Yeah.
Like,
what do you do, right? That's the main dilemma of my personal life now. It's like, what do I do? Do I stand my ground and do I become more bitter every day, or am I going to be more flexible and offer my services at a bit of a discount for the sake of actually being able to pay my bills and keep food on the table?
well, I've been the stubborn one, sticking to my guns, and so far it's not working out. Just today, but when you picked me up
Yeah.
in your car, I got 2 emails back to back saying the same shit. Like, I am the most expensive option of the 3 other people that they requested quotes from, and they're going in a different direction. It was almost like a copy paste job.
Yeah.
And I've gotten 4 of those emails in the last, I would say, week alone.
Yeah.
It's kind of like predictable, like, at this point. And so I'm actually questioning myself, like, am I delusional with my pricing? Like, by my standards, it's not obscene, you know, it's perfectly reasonable. And these same exact rates were getting accepted, you know, 2-3 years ago. And now it just feels like something shifted.
I would say not even years. I would say like months ago. Like, I would say back in fucking November.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
last year, that things look different than what they do now.
I would say, yeah, I agree. Like, anyway, yeah, I find myself here doing the same things I was doing that was working, that were working, and now I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And now I'm redesigning my website because I hadn't touched my website in like 5 years, and I was like, maybe that's the secret, but I'm kind of firing blind at the moment. This industry is all about really like relationships, the relationships you build, and more so than talent. So
Yep, 100%. And
know.
I said that on my last video. My last video, I talked about creative work and spec work, and I said collaboration was a big deal of it, meeting people, working with them, understanding, you know, your own self as well as like how people work together. Collaboration is a huge part. It's also what gets you the foot in the door when it comes to like working with brands and stuff like that. A lot of it is who you know at a particular point in time and how much you can kind of capitalize on that.
yeah, it's really about nurturing those relationships, not letting them go stale. And you know, I admit that's something that I fumbled the ball on that. When I had different clients, I had good relationships with them, but I wasn't proactive enough in nurturing them and following up and like proposing new ideas. Like, hey, you know, I know we just shot this, but have you thought about that? I was just kind of like getting too comfortable, I guess. And you know,
So I guess the thing to learn here is always stay learning, always stay active. Don't think that because you got XYZ job that is going to be your future, because everything is like a circle. You might be at the top, and then you can come back to the bottom, and what's going to determine your future is what you continue to do, what practices you continue to incorporate into your own business, like marketing, like reaching out to people, like staying in touch, and all these things that I personally am terrible at, and I'm learning now that I have to do more of. And kind of going through it. I don't think that for us or anyone out there, this is like the end of it, you know? This just proposes a new challenge to shift gears and sort of like learn new ways of attaining what you once had, or in a different way, you know, getting something new, because everything is always changing now with the world of AI and all these other implementations. It doesn't mean that, for me, it doesn't mean that we're out of the job. It just means that there are more tools out there for us and more resources for us to be able to manipulate in order to continue to provide the services that we provide.
Yeah, I think it's important to stay open-minded about things. And I mean, look, I'm shooting this on a 360 camera. I've never even seen one in person until today.
First time that Chris sees a 360 camera, he's mind blown that we can just record all of this.
I know I'm a little late to the party.
We're using the internal mic on the camera because we didn't have 2 mics and we're just winging it.
Yeah.
That's part of life. So,
but I think that there has to be some consistency, though, some collective consistency in understanding that the stuff that we make for these clients, like it has a purpose. It's to generate wealth for other people. Like, you're not doing them a favor, and they're not doing you a favor by hiring you. They are requesting your services to make more money for themselves. And we were just talking about how when we go on shoots sometimes, like, we're the poorest people there. Like, people asking us for discounts, and somebody pulls up in a Range Rover. Like,
yeah. There's a lot of memes out there, and there's a lot of videos that are super funny about when you pull up to the shoot of the client that asks for a discount.
Yeah. So I think at some point, collectively, we have to take a stand in not diluting the value of our very industry. It's almost like, I think photographers have this really bad habit of cannibalizing their own industry. Like, you think of any other trade, you think of plumbers, you think of like mechanics, like they're not frequently trying to undercut each other. They're not so cutthroat with their competition.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like photographers will shoot themselves in the foot for the privilege of going to like an event just because like Ferrari's sponsoring it. You know?
Right. And there's not really any value in that. And sometimes, like, I understand because I was there too when I was up and coming, and people would tell me that there was no value there, and I'll be like, that's bullshit. There's no value for you, but there's value for me. And that's, we're all stubborn to some degree, and we all have to eventually hit the wall before we understand and shift gears and all that stuff. But if you're one of those of the few that are able to vicariously live through other people and understand things and sort of like, get it before you have to hit the wall, then this is your sign to find the value in yourself, to understand the value that you have. And I always say this in every like thing that I've said, that I've been able to talk to like crowds and stuff like that. I've always said the same thing. I've always said, if somebody's reaching out to you for a service, it's because they saw something in you that they thought was important and that they want, and that in itself holds value. So you have value. There's a lot of value within you, between the way that you see the world, or that you color your images, or that you present your videos, or whatever it is that you're doing in the creative field. You hold value, and that value has to be compensated, and that's like the most important thing.
Well said, man. I got nothing to add to that. I guess though I would follow up with a question. What do you do now where we live in a world where either it's with AI or with other photographers, where it seems like the barrier to entry in this industry is so easily accessed? Like, gear is so cheap. It's never been easier to make a good looking image, whether you make it yourself or you prompt it or whatever. So what do you do to distinguish yourself, from the 3 or 4 other guys? Like, look, I'm in the architecture space. I think I'm pretty good, but I know there's 5 or 6 other guys in my market who could probably do a good job. Maybe they have a different version, a different way of looking at the world, a different aesthetic, but they can create compelling images for their clients. Like, how do you distinguish yourself in that?
How do I distinguish myself?
Or anyone, how does anyone do it?
I think that I'm learning that now, and I think that sticking true to whatever you like and whatever feels good to you, regardless of whether it's popular or not, is going to be the thing that separates you from the rest. I think that a lot of people who are starting to blow up on like YouTube, on other platforms as well, is because they are just sticking to their own perspective and their own way of viewing things and presenting things. And I think that in itself holds value. And I think that that's why I'm not whipping out an FX3 and a lighting setup and microphones and podcast bullshit to do this video. I'm literally recording it on a 360 camera because I said, fuck it, we just have to get this out and done. And that is the purest thing that I could do, right? So I guess that would be my answer to that question.
That's a good answer. I think you touched on something too, regarding the commitment to your own personal taste, because trends come and go. Like right now it's all about UGC and you know, kind of like this low effort content.
Yeah.
You know, pun intended here with the 360
Yeah.
cam. But
Definitely.
But all of this stuff is kind of cyclical because like you had like the Instagram trends of the 2010s where it was all about perfection, perfect grids, polished images, and now we're kind of like in the extremes. So staying consistent with your own personal point of view of the world, I think, is really the most valuable thing we have, because I think that's the one thing nobody else, machine or person,
Yeah,
can replicate.
stay true to yourself. I mean, this video is probably not going to perform, right?
No,
because it's not a camera review. There's no new tech. There's nothing cool. It's just two dudes sitting around talking shit. Like, probably not going to perform, but it holds a lot of value for those people who are seeking for the information that we are providing them with. So to me, that holds a lot more value than a couple of more clicks on a video because I'm talking about the newest camera, right?
I think it's the compounding interest of building something that's going to provide more long-standing value.
Right.
Because like a camera review is only valuable for as long as that camera is relevant, and then, you know, in a year there's going to be 4 other cameras coming out, and no one's going to give a
So
shit.
if like I say, like if we stick to this, right? If we dedicate ourselves to continuing to push out content like this, and we're so lucky that one day we become like hyped up and famous, like, you know, we become the new Peter McKinnons of the world, like this video is gonna blow up. You know what I mean? So there's hope for this video
hope it
at
helps
some point in
somebody.
time.
That's how I approach all my content.
But
like,
for now, it's for the select few of you that are watching this video and paying attention. And this is just a message to any creative out there. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's just the way that the world is. The world is not out to get you. The world is just there, and you're part of it. And you have to learn and adapt in ways in which to traverse this life and this industry in order to continue to do what it is that you love. If this is what you love, and if it's not, then there's something else for you out there.
Yeah, I think it's also important to remember that the world is disruptive in cycles. Like there's always going to be something that changes the way, you know, we get comfortable in our established routines, things that work. And something always comes along, whether it's a market trend, whether it's something in the economy, whether it's new tech. And I don't know, people are still making art. Like the mediums have changed, but for as long as humans have been around, people have been getting paid to make art in some capacity. So that's not going anywhere.
And neither are you. So, I mean, with that, I think that's it. I think that's all that we wanted to push out for this one video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Follow Chris. I'll leave his information down in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.
Peace.